2 Rumble wins in a row for Shawn Michaels, and yet another dodgy finish in a WWE Championship match involving Bret Hart. Mid-90s WWE, you gotta love it or you gotta get the F out. Wait, that was 2002. I'm Jarrett with the retro review of WWE Royal Rumble 1996. Speaking of 2002, that 2005-2006 will be the next 3 retro Rumble reviews that I do, and then after that, I'll just save a few for next year because I can only review so many, and I already watch enough Wrestling Weekly as it is. But it's been fun to go back and revisit some of these older Rumbles. And 96, from top to bottom, is one of my favorite Rumble events of all time. I fully recognize, with dodgy finishes and the lack of depth in the Royal Rumble match itself, that it's not all that great. But, you know what? I just like the pacing of it. And I thought there were some really cool moments in the Rumble match. Sunny in a bathtub. Really not what I needed to see, but for a period of time, Sunny was pretty damn over with the audience. Viewer discretion is advised. To be fair, though, Sunny was much better on the mic than Sable was, in more ways than one. We get a hype package, Fresno, California, 9,600 people. At least the crowd was pretty hot. We get Vince and Mr. Perfect on commentary. I knocked Randy Savage on commentary. I knocked Roddy Piper on commentary, even though they're 2 of the greatest talkers, especially from, like, you know, the 70s, 80s, that kind of stuff. Just such great talkers. Their promos, so goddamn iconic. Didn't translate to commentary. Mr. Perfect, though, put over the athletes, called the moves, really did great stuff, and he did a lot of pop culture references. You can always tell when Vince McMahon doesn't have a goddamn clue what's going on, because Vince will just, ha ha ha, it's good shit, pal. He doesn't have a goddamn clue what's going on. So anyway, we get Jeff Jarrett versus Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed wanted revenge because Jarrett had hit him with the gold record at the December 95 In Your House, which you can check out in the old school wrestling reviews and documentary reviews playlist, which I really enjoyed reviewing that one, even though it wasn't great. Brett versus Davey. Fucking Christ, so much goddamn blood. Jarrett having to carry Ahmed Johnson. I'm not the biggest fan of Jeff Jarrett, but goddamn, Jarrett had to basically save Ahmed Johnson after he nearly fell on his goddamn head doing a dive. And for a period of time, Ahmed Johnson could actually move. But look at how Ahmed was here and at the 97 Rumble, even after injuries. And then take a look at how he was by the 98 Rumble. He couldn't move. And he really couldn't move by WCW 2000. And the crowd loved Ahmed, and Jarrett hits him with a guitar off the top, basically because he couldn't beat him, and that causes a DQ. Diesel cuts a promo about the Rumble, and Taker, basically saying he's got no problem with Taker. He's going to win the Rumble. He's going to go on to face the champion. Then we have the Body Donnas with Sunny versus Smoking Guns tag title match. I believe it was Vince that mentioned about, skip and zip, like from behind you can't tell the difference. And then, Perfect's like, well, I'm not noticing that from behind. Then Sunny's there, oh, I noticed that from behind. Dear fucking God. Dear fucking God, Perfect. Who didn't dip their pen in that company ink? So, good fast pace. Sunny got in the face and went down quickly. So, pretty much like her locker room life. And she's not like a lot of women, McMahon. She's smart. Mr. Perfect, being ever, gracious with his commentary. Actually, it was pretty damn good. And then we get an inside cradle, 1, 2, 3. It's funny, though, that Sunny would manage, I believe, the Godwins, the Body Donnas, the Godwins, and the Smoking Guns, I believe. I think she would manage all 3 of them. It was just really weird. Just really, really goddamn weird. 3 consecutive tag team champions, though. She was a pretty damn good manager. Just didn't last very long. But anyway, Billionaire Ted's Wrestling War Room, and Russo was part of it. I knew there was a reason I hated these, and even though I didn't know who the fuck Vince Russo was, looking back on Vince Russo being involved in this, goddamn. So we get Razor Ramon versus Goldust, Intercontinental Championship match. Boy, Razor really didn't want to work with Goldust. You couldn't fucking tell. Not one bit. Except for the fact that you could tell Razor was very uncomfortable with this. Goldust kept playing mind games. Marlena was also there. Crowd booed plenty. I think there were even some homophobic chants. And I know there were at Goldust, throughout the Attitude Era, but credit. Goldust weirded me out when I was 14. Of course, I was also really hateful back when I was 14, as opposed to the cheery, happy-go-lucky, love-everybody individual that I am now. What I mean is I was racist and homophobic, and I really didn't like the Goldust character. I also wondered why the fuck Vince McMahon took the natural Dustin Rhodes that I just saw in WCW the year prior. The whole Blacktop Bully feud. King of the Road. That was a great idea. Wasn't great at all. Dusty's ideas didn't always work out well. But anyway, later Terry does a distraction 1-2-3 kid through the crowd, heel kick to the back of Razor's head, and Goldust covers 1-2-3, new Intercontinental Champion, which he would be till I think King of the Ring. He wouldn't defend the championship at Mania, but he'd have that great parking lot brawl, or backlot brawl rather, with Roddy Piper, and they would almost did it with OJ. That wouldn't have worked. That wouldn't have worked at all. Wouldn't be the first time that Vince McMahon associated with a murder. I mean, God, he's associated with murderers a lot. God, he got Jimmy Snuka off and paid off a police chief. That was fun. That totally was, and that police chief was lying through his goddamn teeth. So anyway, new Intercontinental Champion, Dr. Unger, I believe is his name. Shawn is 100% and ready to get back in the ring, but he will be there to monitor. And then Owen Hart, Jake Roberts, various others are talking about the Rumble match. Rumble match, Triple H at number 1, because it was Triple H and Duke the Dumpster Droese, who I'm sure was a good talent, but that was just a really bad idea to put him in that. Everybody had to have an occupation. I don't get it. But Triple H basically used a foreign object. I want to say it was brass knucks. It wasn't an international object, not like, in WCW, where they actually literally called it an international object, because they couldn't use foreign object. Anyway, so Triple H was number 1, and then Henry O. Godwin was number 2. Henry O. Godwin, hug, do you get it? Do you get Vince McMahon's subtle humor? Good shit. Anyway, Bob Backlund's number 3 in his bathrobe. I don't understand why. Lawler was number 4. Lawler basically hid under the ring for about 30 minutes of his 36 minutes he was in the ring. Godwin slops everyone, including some fans in the front row. That was really good aim there. Aim your slop there. Bob Sparkplug Holly at number 5. He lasted 39 minutes. Bob Holly deserved way better than that gimmick. And the Hog Farmer is trying to loosen up Helmsley from behind, says Vince. It's good shit, pal. I guess the Hog Pan match meant something else. He wishes he could quit him, I think is what Vince was trying to say. Well, before that movie ever came out. Mabel at number 6. And this was Mabel's last match before he got fired because he injured The Undertaker, breaking his orbital socket. Jake Roberts at number 7 to a huge pop. And then everybody runs from Jake's lengthy snake, except Lawler, who gets a snake on him. Man, that's the second slimiest creature that snake has been on. Yeah, I don't really like Lawler, in case you can't tell. Lawler does hide under the ring, though, as I said. Dory Funk Jr. at 8. Still legit tough. I don't know why Dory Funk Jr. was there. I really don't. It was very, very odd. Just there to fill out the roster. And hey, I mean, he did okay. He was only in there a few minutes. Yokozuna at number 9. Mabel gets eliminated. Backlund does get tossed out though before that. 1-2-3 at 10. Razor chases him. You can't hit a moving target, McMahon. Takao Omori. Apologies. No reaction. To be fair, I don't think anybody knew who the fuck he was. I actually need to go back and research a little bit of him. I believe he was in New Japan. But felt bad for the guy. He was only in there a couple minutes, again, to fill out the roster. And Vader at number 13. Huge reaction. Perfect. Put him over. Cornette was there. This was good shit. Funk Jr. got tossed out by Savio Vega, who's number 12. Jake got tossed out by Vader. A lot of people forget how tall Jake Roberts was, and his big frame, he just went over. And then, it was some really, really good stuff. The squat and push team, as I call them. Let me just say right now, these guys, I don't understand why these guys were there. I guess they were wrestled in Puerto Rico in bloody matches and were big guys that could do moonsaults. Cool. Vader could do moonsaults, and he was an athlete. Sorry, these guys just didn't interest me. And they were out by Vader and Yokozuna. One was out, I believe, by Vader. And then he came back in. And actually, I think it was an exchange between Perfect and Vince. He says, which one's the legal man? Which one's the illegal man? The one on the left. Ha ha. Which left? My left. Man, Vince just had no goddamn idea how to react to that nervous goddamn laughter. Owen at number 17, 20 minutes. Shawn Michaels at number 18. Shawn and Owen had history because Owen had taken Shawn Michaels out because Shawn had a concussion, from the 30 Marines that beat his ass. Except the one Marine, because Shawn was hitting on a Marine's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or something. Bottom line is he got the shit beat out of him in a bar. Because all good, wrestling stories end well in a bar. And Shawn was out for a bit. This is unfortunately when Shawn's issues started to take hold. And thankfully he got clean from them. But it was a good angle with Owen. It got Owen over. And then Owen got basically squashed after that. He does go after Owen. Shawn tosses out Vader and Yokozuna to a huge reaction. That was a really cool spot. They recreated it in the 2006 match with Triple H, tossing out Big Show and Kane, I believe. In fact, Triple H's run there was similar to what Shawn's did, or Shawn did for his, except Shawn entered much later. Triple H was like number 2? I think he's number 1. He was number 1, Ray was number 2. So anyway, yeah, it was good stuff. Vader, Yoko, they brawl a bit. Vader comes back in, tosses everyone out. Shawn tries to toss out Cornette roughly because Shawn was a prick and basically decided to toss out Cornette roughly. Yes, I'm a Cornette fan, but it's like, you can only take a bump so well, even, if you're somewhat experienced doing it, and Shawn did not. He threw him, like, into the rope where he almost freaking, like, decapitated him. It was ridiculous. Tatanka, number 20, who was part of the $1 Million Corporation. Aldo Montoya, 21. He's got his jock on the wrong part of his body, McMahon. That was just incredible, by the way, with his jock on his face. It made no sense. Shawn finds Lawler under the ring and eliminates him after, holding on to, like, how many extra cords do they have under the goddamn ring? Enough for Chris Benoit. Anyway, Diesel at number 23, tears quad, Kama Mustafa, or Kama the Supreme Fighting Machine. He was Kama Mustafa later. The future Too Much theme, before they became Too Cool. You know what I'm talking about. And then Ringmaster at number 24. Whatever happened to that guy? Man, Ringmaster, did he ever go anywhere? He was here and then he was gone. What the fuck? I kid. It's Austin, by the way, obviously. But he was supposed to be into the Final Four, but actually slipped and wasn't able to be there. But, hey, I think Austin did okay for himself. And then Barry Horowitz at number 25. That was, I think, pretty much the last thing that Horowitz was really featured in. Fatu, number 26, to make a difference for The Rock, for the people. Diesel tosses Triple H out. Triple H lasted like 44, 45 minutes. Isaac Yankem at 27. Thank God Kane came along. Not a guy that just looked at K9s. Anyway, Shawn tosses Owen out. What the hell is going on? Oh no, what'd you say? Mr. Perfect's freaking out. Mari Janae at 28. Bulldog at 29. He's heading out in 3.5. And then Duke Dumpster Droese was out in 70 seconds. All that hype for him to be the 30th man, and he was out. And Ringmaster, accidentally out, and then it's down to Shawn and Diesel. I believe it was Kama, Diesel, Shawn, and Bulldog. Shawn slides under Bulldog's legs, clotheslines him out of the ring. Kama gets tossed out of the ring, and then Diesel turned around, super kick, or sweet chin music, 1, 2, or not 1, 2, 3. Be weird if you pinned him in the Rumble, knocks him out, Diesel's out, and then looks like he's about to beat him, and then holds up the hand. Not the Dark Order thing. Diesel did not join the Dark Order well before the Dark Order ever came along, and does a high five thing, and then they would face off against each other at Good Friends, Better than Enemies, and in April of 96, and then that would be it. So Shawn wins the Rumble. And Undertaker and Diesel brawl some as Undertaker's making his entrance. Bret versus Undertaker. Nearly 30 minutes, and good as you would expect. Of course it would be a good match, because it's Bret and the Undertaker. It's not quite as good as their SummerSlam 97 match, but it's really goddamn good. Because Bret was taking Undertaker off his feet, targeting the knee, and Taker was using the power, and it was tremendous stuff. Tombstone, the ref gets pulled out by Diesel, so a DQ, and Diesel flips him off, which was cool shit. And then we get a Rumble Plus. Monsoon talks about after the event's going to be Bret versus Diesel in a cage in your house in February. And then Doc Hendricks has Shawn Michaels. He's talking about, winning the Rumble. Diesel says he's happy. He's happy to just forget about this. He's going to beat Bret. He's going to do this stuff. Vader then throws chairs while Cornette yells. And that's pretty much the end of that. Overall, I enjoyed this. Even though there were some things I picked on. It's one of my favorite Rumble events. I just like it. I fully recognize it's not a great pay-per-view in the eyes of many, but that's my opinion. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Jarrett. I'll see you soon.